Hey everyone, welcome back to a new video, and in this video we're gonna see how to write convention plugin for our multi-module projects. So I have already created a project naming convention. So first I'm gonna show you the problems. Why we need convention plugin. We have here core domain, we have here core hardware, two different modules. Open the build Gradle KTS, you will see this code, and in our core domain build.gradle.kts this code is the same. So basically we are duplicating this same code again and again when we create a new Android library. So instead of duplicating this code, I'm gonna write a plugin. We simply apply that plugin on top, and that plugin help our module to become an Android module along with this information and also few dependency which you wanna add for all of your Android modules. So let's see how we can build this. First thing first, you should change the mode from Android to project. Right click, create here a new directory, and the directory name is very specific, build logic. And in this we gonna create two different files. First one is build.gradle.kts and second one is settings.gradle.kts. Why do we need these two files? Well, the answer is this build logic is a separate Gradle project, just like our convention project. So convention is a separate project and our build logic is a separate Gradle project. And these modules we call it Gradle sub projects. But in Android terminology, when we apply this particular plugin on top of our build.gradle.kts plugin section, this eventually becomes an Android module. In normal ways, when we talking about in terms of Gradle, everything is project or sub project. So this core domain, this core hardware is a sub project, and this convention is a project, just like build logic. So build logic is a different Gradle project. So let's create here two files, build.gradle.kts, and we have settings.gradle.kts, settings.gradle.kts. Include this build logic within our convention project. Open the settings.gradle.kts and here include this build. Name is build logic. Why we are adding at the top of our plugin management? Because this build logic contains plugins, convention plugins, and we want to compile that convention plugin first so that we can use those plugin within our application, or you can say within our convention project. So that's the reason why I am putting it at the top of our plugin management. Sync your project and your build logic eventually become an module. Okay, so now open the settings.gradle.kts. We're gonna first provide the root project name, which is build-logic. Next, we're gonna write here dependency resolution management. Because it's a separate Gradle project, it needs this dependency resolution management to resolve the dependency that we might add in the future. First, we have here repositories that has Google and Maven Central. So these two are the very common one. And also we're gonna create here a version catalog. So in this version catalog, we're gonna create here an object naming libs. So this libs point towards our libs.versions.toml file. So from files dot go to step back, we have Gradle naming directory, and in this directory we have our libs.versions.toml file. So using this object we can access all of the information from libs.versions.toml file. Now let me show you this libs.versions.toml file. So it is situated within our Gradle directory. Here Gradle directory, libs.versions.toml file. So libs.versions.toml file, also called as version catalog, that contains all of our version information. We can access this libs.versions.toml information from our project. Because build logic is a separate project, we cannot directly access that libs.versions.toml information. That is why I have created this object. So this points towards our libs.versions.toml file. Using this object, we can access these versions, libraries, bundles, and plugins. Okay, so now go back to our build logic Gradle project. Open the build.gradle.kts. Here we're gonna add a plugin. So this Kotlin DSL. So this plugin enables the ability to write our plugin things with Kotlin language. Otherwise, you cannot write your plugin things with Kotlin language. So this plugin is the most important plugin. Next we gonna mention the group, and group name is developer Himanshu convention build logic. We have certain dependencies in this, and we need those dependency only for the compile time. So compile only libs. We have Android Gradle plugin. Compile only libs.kotlin.gradle plugin. And now it's time to register few plugins. So Gradle plugins, and in this we're gonna register our first plugin, and name is Android library. We have to provide the ID, and we have to provide the implementation class. So for the ID, I'm gonna use here developer Himanshu Android library, library. For the implementation, we'll use here Android library convention plugin. We haven't created this class yet, so let's create this class. So for this, in this build logic, create a new directory, source main Kotlin. Let me write few extension first. We have a package name ext that contains two extension file. First one is version catalog extensions. It's an extension over project. So first function is an extension over project. So this project gives you all kind of information that you need while writing your plugins. So first, version catalog. It will return version catalog information. Extensions get by type version catalog extension class.java, and we have already given the name libs. So this will return version catalog. Now if we want to access a library, we'll simply pass alias, and this is an extension over version catalog. Simply use here find library, pass the alias and pull the dependency. Like this, we have version catalog for bundle. We need to pass the alias, type is string, find the bundle, pass the alias and pull the information. Like this, we have version catalog dot version alias, type is string, find version, pass the alias, get required version. So we have library, we have bundle, we have version. Next extension function is project extensions. So in this file we have a function. This is also an extension function on project. Configure Kotlin. We'll use extensions, and this time we're gonna use configure. We need to pass the class type. So the class type is Kotlin Android. Okay, so this is not available because we haven't synced our project. Just comment this thing and sync our project. We have already added dependencies over here, but we did not sync. That's the reason why it is not available. Now uncomment it and type here Kotlin Android project extension class.java, and in this we have JVM toolchain. We are using here 17. That's it. These are the two extension files we need. This will pull the information regarding the version catalog thing. This function help us to configure Kotlin for our project or for our Android library. We're gonna create our first convention plugin, which is Android library convention plugin. It's a class. This class uses this interface plugin, and make sure this plugin is coming from org.gradle.api. In this we have to pass our project, and the project is also coming from org.gradle.api. Override the apply with the target. So in this first we're gonna apply the plugin using plugin manager. Apply com.android.library. So this is my plugin. And at the end, we're gonna configure our Kotlin. Next, we're gonna pull the information from the version catalog, use extensions, and in this extension we have configure. So this time we're gonna configure the library things. So like use library extension class.java. Now we have default configuration over here. So if you open the build.gradle.kts of your core domain, you will see we have this default configuration thing. So copy this, come back to our Android library convention plugin, paste it over here. So here you can see the minimum SDK is available. Now I want to use my libs version. In place of alias, we're gonna pass the minimum SDK, convert it into integer, and that's it. For the compile SDK, we're gonna use libs version compile SDK, convert it into integer. And if you want to add any specific dependency, you'll use dependency apply, and you can very easily add the dependency. So here we have add. If you want to add dependency for the implementation, just use your implementation, and we need to pass the library information over here. That's it. So we do not need dependency for this convention plugin, so remove it. So we are done with the Android library convention plugin. Now it's time to register this. Open your build.gradle.kts. So we have already did this. Now it's time to create this plugin ID in our libs.versions.toml file, because our convention project can access the libs.versions.toml file information. So let's do that. Over here at the bottom, convention plugins, I'm going to give it the name. So name is developer Himanshu Android library. ID is dev Himanshu Android library. For the version, we're gonna use unspecified. Alright, simply sync your project. Alright, so syncing is done. Now we shall open the core domain build.gradle.kts, and I'm gonna remove all this information. Namespace is unique to this module, so leave it. And over here, I'm gonna use my plugin, which is dev Himanshu Android library. Now I'm gonna do the same for my core hardware. Remove all these things. We have already did this thing in our Android convention plugin. Alright, sync your project. Alright, so syncing is done. Everything is working. We have removed successfully a certain amount of code from our build.gradle.kts. Like this, if you want to create more convention plugin, let's say you want to create a convention plugin for Hilt, it's very easy. You can go and do it. So by using this process, you can create your own convention plugin very easily. I hope you got the concept. I hope you like this video.